Michael Ede, welcome to Sports Management Podcast.
Thank you very much, Marcus, for having me today.
I'm very excited to talk to you. You are the founder and CEO of Uplift11 Sports. You also have your own consultancy in the IT business, and you have written recently a book, which we will all talk about today, which is called One Shot Business Case for Success. So first of all, welcome, and can you tell us a little bit about what it is that you do?
Thank you very much, Marcus. It's quite a privilege to actually have this chat with you today. When you reach out to me, you wanted to have me on your podcast. I know it's a podcast for the 21st century, and you're going to be going beyond borders. So it's a privilege for me to have this conversation with you today. So yes, rightly said, my name is Michael Ede. I'm the founder and CEO of Uplift11 Sports, and also MaigMike Consulting, which is my consulting firm built for the modern day. Uplift11, as you would have noticed, we didn't start the way it is right now. Right now, we're one of the UK's fastest growing sports management agency, and this is a testament of our holistic approach to everything that leverages intellect, passion, and endurance. That's what we use to make impact on our clients. And I would like to give a little bit about background of myself, and before we kick off this conversation, if that's okay with you.
Oh, of course.
So I think it was the fall of 2016. I was actually born and raised in Nigeria. My father was a Nigerian Second Republic House of Assembly member. That's like a senator in the current day. I was born to him. My mom was a businesswoman. My father's name is John Ede. He's a honorable as well, with so many titles and stuff. So having said that, I was born into a polygamous home. My mom was the fourth of the wives, my father's wife, from the African setting, which might not make sense to the people around the European and around the world, but polygamy is something a lot of people actually are used to at the moment here as well. But having said that, I was raised from a background of a very, very strict upbringing. My dad was so strict. Anything you're going to say to my dad at the time, you know, fathers, how you have to make sure that whatever you want to say to them is something related to education, coming from the African background. So my father's house was a house of scholars. So as a growing up kid, I went to a Methodist school, high school called Wesley High School. And then after that, I have to go to a university in Nigeria called University of Jos, which is around the northern part of Nigeria. I had to study, I wanted to study medicine. I was not given medicine immediately from the onset because of some certain criteria of medicine, even though I had the qualification and the score in an exam that they call JAM, Joint Admission and Matriculation Board exam at the time. So after the exam, I went into the University of Jos. I enrolled into the university, and I was offered biochemistry. I was offered biochemistry, the 4 years course, and then did my thesis. If I remember vividly, my thesis was on the effect of mango bark extract on white albino rats, just to be able to, so I was writing on how we'll be able to see if the bark of mango can cure anemia in white albino rats. And then at that point in time, I said to myself, okay, I had within myself to actually go abroad right from the early age. I did so many applications to America, to Canada, to United Kingdom. A greener pasture was pushing. My parents was not really happy for me to come at a young age. They wanted me to actually complete my education. So successfully, I graduated as one of the best graduating students from the University of Jos in my Faculty of Medical Sciences, Department of Biochemistry. I made a 2-1. I was just shy of I had 4.0 some, I think about around 4.0 something at the time. And then I was shy of first class. Then I had I made a 2-1, second class upper division. From there, I got admission to, so I have a couple of applications to the university in America, got the I-20, went to the embassy, as it normally turns out, which you will be finding in my book, which will come in my autobiography. I didn't get a visa. They said, oh, why don't you try England? I said, oh, I didn't want to come to England. Sometimes in life, when you think that you have the answer to something, there is a drive that nature throws at you that makes it possible for you to actually pursue your dream, where puts you on the path of your dream, okay? So I was able to, I just reluctantly put an application in with other couple of applications I did in the UK. And then I was offered an admission, University of Manchester, to do bioinformatics. Came to the UK, it was there. And then I didn't want to get stuck in the lab. I wanted to actually have a human interaction. So I haven't said that when I came to the UK. That was around 2006 when I came over to the UK. After I completed that, I decided to do an MBA. Did an MBA from Manchester Metropolitan University. I specialized in strategy, entrepreneurship, and international business. After doing the MBA, and then I had a vision where obviously I saw this crystal clear in my spirit that I wanted to become an entrepreneur. And for me to be an entrepreneur, I need to understand the nitty-gritty of the path I want to follow. So I was able to, as for specializing, graduated with a merit from the business school. After I had a distinction, by the way, in my dissertation at the business school as well. So after the graduation, I started then working with some of the companies. I started from a project support and worked my way up to the top. So working my way up in terms of, so my domain is project management. So as a project manager, I started working, I've worked for some of the, to cut the long story short, I worked some of the top financial services around the globe, like HSBC, Barclays, Bank of Ireland. I work for some of the best consulting firms in the world, like Capgemini, Wipro, and then also the biopharma giant AstraZeneca in the past. So all these firms, I was working for them, and I said, how can I leverage my expertise? I make these guys so much money, I need to actually do something. So first of all, I incorporated my consulting firm, which I used in working for them. And then, having said that, I had passion for sport from my young age. Even though currently I'm a platinum club member with Arsenal Football Club. Arsenal, we could currently top of the league, thank goodness for now. So I support Arsenal. So my wife said to me, always a wife. They said behind every successful man, there's always a woman. I always say she's side by side with me, all through.
Yeah.
If you watch the video of my book launch, she was the one that did the opening speech. That was my wife. She's a principal BA as well. She's one of the female entrepreneurs as well. So having said that, she said, why don't you channel your passion into something good in sports? Because you seem to watch all sports. And then that was during the COVID period. So during the COVID period, I said, okay, I was able during the COVID period, did some research, said, oh, okay, I'll become a football agent. That was 2020. So I enrolled with John Viola Academy, John Viola to become an agent. So I did it, John Viola in Scotland. John Viola, by the way, is one of the elite agent that started in the football world. I think he was instrumental. He worked with Luis Figo. He worked with Christian Korembo in the past, the World Cup winner. So I was with them, him and John Viola and Phil McTaggart. They're in Scotland, by the way. They're still running their football agent course. So I did that and then enrolled in a couple of scout courses to be able to know, because if you want to be a football agent, you have to make sure that you understand some of the nitty-gritty of recruiting a player. So I did scouting. I had to use various tools like Instat and Wayscout to actually look for players for myself. So I incorporated Uplift11 Sports and then do a couple of master class courses with my friend currently and someone I look up to, even though he thinks we are friends. I still look at him as a mentor, Mesut Ozil's agent, Professor Ekut, my very good friend. So we talk here and then. So, and the rest was history. So I was able to actually, when I started, I was focusing on quantity rather than quality in 2020. Uplift11 was focusing on recruiting so many players. I had over 45 to 60 players in my book at the time, and then hiring coaches, not being mindful of the fact that this business have a lot of sharks over there, and then you need to make sure you focus on quality rather than quantity. So I ran into problems from the onset because whilst I have these players, I couldn't get clubs for these players to play football. So I had the coaches, I couldn't get them clubs. So a couple of months and weeks along the line, I did a self-reflection as an entrepreneur. Having been successful for the business world, coming into the sports world, I thought I was going to smash everything. So having said that, I was thinking the numbers was my success until I ran into problems where most of those players and the coaches couldn't go into clubs. So I had to do a restructuring and rebranding of my football agency. And then I was focusing on quality rather than quantity. And that was a game changer for me. And having said that, we were able to turn things around and made the agency as one of the UK's fastest growing sports management agency.
That's fantastic story. And to see that because that was a question I had beforehand, that you didn't start out from sport. You started, as you said, with your other degrees in biochemistry and then in IT and in sports. So, but this comes out of a childhood passion for sports that you are now leveraging. Yeah.
Absolutely correct.
Yeah, and you were mentioning agencies that you took a course on that, and Dr. Erkut Sogut has been a guest on this podcast as well. Very good guy. But talking about the agencies, that's also a chapter in your book of what's needed. So do you want to talk a little bit about that, of what is your learnings from the agency industry?
So one of the things I've actually learned from the agency world is the fact that there's no one size fit all. So, and whilst I was talking to you, just having the experience is not just enough to become a sports agent. What I did was I actually registered. You have to be a licensed football agent to the Football Association in the UK as well. I didn't talk about that area. I became licensed football agent, registered with the FA. They did all the checks. And then also I have the license to manage the minors. That's players under 18. So I have that license as well, 3 years they give, so you have to renew it year by year. So I was able to actually understand some of for example, in 2 days' time, I'll be doing the FIFA exam. So there is a new legislation that says every agent post 2015 have to take the FIFA exam. The first exam is on the 19th of April, and the second one is I think on the 30th of September. So in 2 days' time, we that are post-agent from 2015 will be doing the exam. And after that exam, if you pass our exam, we have to renew our license yearly, and it's no exams anymore. We have to pay 600 euros to FIFA now, and then yearly, and then do like the CPD, the continuous education, making sure that we upskilling ourselves in the area of a sports management agency, and then also being a licensed agent as well. So you just said to me that you wanted me to actually share some light on the book. Is that what you said?
Yeah, a little bit of, because the agency, please do that. And because the agency is one of the chapters, but there are obviously several more chapters. So if you want to talk about that or something else that you want to pick out of the book and shed some light on that.
Okay. So one shot came about the experience that I had. So one shot, I was listening to a track by Eminem. It came from inspiration of the fact that Eminem was talking about Lose Yourself in 2018, his title track. So one shot is that one opportunity that you get that requires you to step out of your comfort zone and going on a journey to discover your true self. And when you find that, it will turn your life in 360 degrees and making sure that you are able to be the person that you want to be. So I shared recently about having a one-shot influence. I was speaking in one of the business summit. I was talking about one shot at influence. So one shot at influence, obviously, that ideology, that every interaction that you have with an investor or a client, a conversation that I'm having with you is an opportunity to influence someone. That opportunity to influence someone, if you take it, that opportunity, it can change the financial bottom line of a business. Either when you talk about the sales or in terms of embarking on partnership or in terms of investment. So, and your ability to be able to influence others can help you to create trust and build an effective business relationship. Okay? So that is what one shot is all about. So one shot is that business case that is the recipe for top entrepreneurs and business leaders in the 21st century. I call it a recipe. The recipe is that ingredient that you need. Any ingredient that the genetic makeup, for example, Coca-Cola has an ingredient which they will not share with anyone. So this book is that ingredient that business leaders and anyone that is looking to make a significant difference in their lives, in their area of expertise, needs to be able to become competitive, to have competitive advantage in their area of expertise. That is just what one shot is all about. So and then he said, when you have that shot, he said, would you take it or you will let it go? So obviously, what I did basically, I explore leadership as well across organization. I also explore entrepreneurial process within the book. And also, if you remember, because you read the book, that's why you listened to the book, I also talk about ways where you can find your venture and shape your dreams as well. And I also lay the platform for entrepreneurial processes, the procedure that you need, that every individual or business owners or entrepreneur will need, and that will help them that will lead to a successful business venture as well.
Very interesting. So as you mentioned, there are a chapter on agency, being an agent, football agent, entrepreneurship, leadership, mentorship. Mentorship we can talk about. That's a topic on this podcast as well often. And you mentioned that Dr. Erkut Sogut he's your friend, but also acts kind of a mentor in some way. So
yeah,
what would you say is the importance of mentorship in the sports industry?
Mentorship is critical in sports industry because a mentor is like a guide to a path. So mentorship is actually the relationship between a more experienced individual and a knowledgeable person and a less experienced person, which is called the mentee. Okay?
Yeah.
So being a mentor, obviously, you provide a kind of guardian's advice and support to someone to help them grow personally or professionally. Okay? So whilst I was in Capgemini, I had about 10 to 15 mentees under my portfolio as a senior manager with them as well. So Erkut has been one of the, he doesn't see himself as an elite agent, but from my understanding, if you look at my book, I talked about him as well. He's one of the agents that have actually disrupt the status quo in the football industry. Erkut comes to anyone's level to be able to help them get better, whether in terms of advice from how to run your agency or advice to how you need to understand how to become a football agent, what you need to do, and some of the mistakes people have done in the past. He's even an author like myself. So every time I have a conversation with him, it's my opportunity for me to learn from him, and it's an opportunity for me to grasp something new. I remembered when before I had my interview on BBC, there was an interview that came on female football, how the society needs to provide more opportunity for female footballers. The first person that came to my mind was Dr. Erkut, because Erkut has a female player with Arsenal Football Club. And I said, who will be the best person who will be able to reference female footballers in this current disposition? So instead of me taking that interview with the BBC, I obliged Erkut. I called him. He was moved from England to America in Orange County in California. We talked. He said, are you free? He said, oh, yeah, he was free. I obliged him that opportunity as well to have the interview with the BBC on female footballers. So you see, it's not, I and Erkut, it's moved beyond just being a friend. Even though if things were just friends, I still look at him as a mentor. Everything I do today is some of the examples that he has set. It's helping me to become a better agent, either formal or informally, either it could take a short or long-term approach. And whether if it is a one-on-one section with Erkut, it's been very, very phenomenal as a mentor to me. I remember when we went to the Football Agent Business Summit, the FABS 2022. I was not supposed to be there if I chose not to. I still have to invest because it was in Erkut. And I got there, I was able to make some remarkable collaboration with other football agents, and then also some of the speakers that I met there as well. And we have established a long-term friendship till today.
That's beautiful. And I can only agree that he's a great person and of course a great agent, but he's just, a text message or a call away, and he's always willing to help and share his wisdom on the industry as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then, yeah, you had other entrepreneurship you have talked about. Of course, you have a lot of your own endeavors that you have worked on, and leadership. Anything on the leadership area from the book that you would like to shine some extra light on?
Yeah, I talked about in my book, influential leadership.
Mm.
I talk about the ideology that an influential leader needs to have in the 21st century. So one of the key strategy that is very, very important in terms of leadership is having influence. Influential leadership focuses basically on inspiration and motivating people to achieve their common goal, rather than simply giving orders or directive, which an authoritative leader will always do. So most leaders that are influential leaders in the current 21st century, they use their charisma, they use their things like their vision and their communication skills to inspire, empower people, and then motivate their followers to take action and work towards a shared vision which they have. I would like to talk about from the football perspective.
Yeah,
I was listening to Thierry Henry a couple of years ago. Thierry Henry was analyzing how Pep Guardiola wants them to play football. So, by the way, one of the football coaches that I have so much respect for is Guardiola. And Thierry Henry is one of my best players when it comes to football. All-time football is my number one. So I like to, when I like people, I like to research about them and I like to study them as well. So Thierry Henry said that whilst he was in Barcelona, Guardiola told them to play using the 3P strategy, which is pass, possession, and positioning. And then that's the tiki-taka football: pass, possession, and positioning. That's what the style that Guardiola likes to play. So he thought he was so clever because Messi and co were passing the ball at one area of the pitch. He decided to say, okay, let me go to that area and enjoy football as well. So he changed his position, and it was a Champions League game. And he scored in that game, and Guardiola substituted him. So Guardiola said to him, my job as a coach is to get you football players using the 3Ps to the third quarter, but your job is to finish it. So an influential leader in the business perspective, an influential leader's role is to take their workforce, is to take the organization, is to use their influence to move people to that third quarter, and it is left for the subject who have actually leveraged from their learning of what the influential leadership has taught them to finish the job. Does that analysis make any sense?
Yes, for sure, definitely. And it's great when you can draw the, take learnings from the pitch and in a use also in the business world, which I know that you also spoke about in the book a little bit. So great things. And talking about influential, being an influencer, you have a very big following on social media, close to 2 million people. How are you leveraging that, or how do you use your following to influence and to help the people who are following you?
So I always say this. This question came to me while I was giving a keynote speech in the Manchester Metropolitan Business School. Now, people follow you for various reasons. For me personally, there are some followers of mine that are following me because of my football, being a football agent. Some followers are following me because I am a football agent and I own a sports management agency. And some are following me because of family, of my family. They see the way I'm, above all, they know that I'm a family man and I love my kids and my wife so much, which they want to follow my journey with my family. And some are following me because I'm an author. Oh, he's written a book. And some are following me because I'm a writer. So in terms of networking and followership on social media platforms, one of the key things that matters is, what are you giving to your audience? In terms of communication, in terms of your posting. Is your daily posting edifying? For example, yesterday, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, I started a newsletter on LinkedIn. I did not send any invitation to anyone on LinkedIn to say, oh, follow my newsletter. But because some of those followers are used to my ways of working, my writing style, and also the kind of content I am posting across my social media network, less than 5 minutes, I have over 200 followers on my newsletter on LinkedIn. I haven't seen you follow me yet, but I'm sure you haven't seen that yet.
No, I haven't seen it actually.
Okay, so
I will sign up.
Yeah, thank you. The reason why people followed me was because of the kind of content. And when people resonate with your content, and that content is able to turn things around for them, your level of following becomes a ripple effect. They follow you, or they might follow, some of the followers on LinkedIn might follow you to Facebook, and some of them will go to Twitter, and some of them will follow to Instagram, depending as the case may be. So when these followers share those visions and those areas with you, they know that the first thing I am, before I became a football agent, before I became an entrepreneur, I'm a family man. I sustain myself with the love of family, according to Maya Angelou. That is one of the key driver for me. So if you look at my Instagram, you will see that some of my posting is, my personal one is within my family. And when there is, recently, I had a journalist way back in Nigeria, in one of the independent newspapers, wrote about one shot. When I saw the article as well, that was a journalist that actually read the book inside out. And then he started following. I saw that he was following me on my LinkedIn as well. He was following me also on my Instagram. So he has been following my journey. So when people understand your journey through your posting and the quality of what you are actually posting, if it resonates with them, they will follow you. So a lot of them got influenced by the quality of the posting that I'm doing, either from leadership perspective, or from business perspective, or from entrepreneurial perspective, or from the sport perspective. So those key areas are how people resonate with my my brand as a person, and also with my organization.
I understand. So, and it's important for you to provide value to these people?
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So then is it difficult, since you said people might follow you for different reasons, that you can influence them in how you are with your family, or in the sports world, or in IT, or with regards to writing? With, like, you have so many different people that follows you. So
Yep.
So there seems to, so that's a challenge to how can you influence all of these people with different interests?
Like I said, obviously, there is no one size fits all when it comes to influence. Influence can be your way of life, your culture.
Yeah.
Influence can come from posting based on my articles. For example, a couple of my articles have been published on Forbes magazine. A couple of my articles have been published in some other newspaper, which I used to be executive contributor for, like Brains magazine in Sweden. I used to be one of their executive contributor. I wrote about which is one chapter in the book as well, in terms of the effect of money in sports industry. Now, some of these write-ups, as you can see, can be an avenue where people follow you as well. So the content that you actually share on your social media, one of the questions is it helpful? Is your content informative as well? Is it relevant to your audience? So, and again, there have to be a reason why someone have to post this content. Are you posting this content to establish yourself as an authority in your niche? Or you are trying to build trust and credibility with your followers? All these are very important when it comes to content creation. So for me, how do I keep all these followers influenced? So the influence, as you can see there, comes in various segments. Either some of them are getting influenced for the fact that I'm a family man, and some of them are actually resonating with my post based on the fact that I'm a football agent. And some are actually resonating with me because I support Arsenal Football Club. So I had lots of followers as well from Arsenal Football Club who are Arsenal supporters. And when they see, and again, when they see me liking some of the posts, my followers actually like that post because I like the post. So there is a kind of ripple effect that comes from what an influencer does. That is why I will have to stress this. It is very, very crucial as a leader, as an influencer, your ways with your audience and the people, your daily lifestyle is critical. We have to be the best example we can, because a lot of people are watching us. They are looking at us. They are getting inspired. They're getting empowered by us as leaders, as influencers. So with that in mind, it is the onus lies on us to provide the best possible platform for them to be able to enjoy our posts and also enjoy our content as well.
Really interesting. And you inspire me, you influence me, and so many other people as well. So thank you for that. And I hope that the listeners learn as well, and that they buy your book, One Shot, and it's available hard copy and as an audiobook. I listen to it on Audible, so they can get it there. And I know that you're also working on your second book. You mentioned it briefly earlier, an autobiography that is called Enigma, I think, right?
That's correct, yes.
Which will be released in the summer.
That's correct, yeah.
Summer of 2023. So this is your autobiography of what we have talked a little bit now, your journey from Nigeria up until today.
That's correct. So my journey from Nigeria up till today, And then I highlighted everything about my life, which I told you a bit about there. Many more in the book. I don't want to give it all away, but
of course,
in this, that's going to be explosive because there are a couple of things a lot of people don't even know about me yet, which they will find out in the book. Enigma, obviously, like it states there, Enigma, obviously, when you need to understand, I will talk briefly what Enigma is, obviously. So Enigma can refer to different things, but from my content I describe it from my way of life. My life is mysterious. I am uniquely made. I'm a unique being because there are a couple of things, different aspects of my life that unfolds that sometimes it even surprises me. Okay, it always surprises me. So my life is like a puzzle that has to be unraveled continuously. So that puzzle is what I'm diving into to let people understand me, the totality of what I stand for.
Interesting. I can't wait to read that book as well. And when it comes out here in a couple of months. Looking, we have talked, you have given a lot of learnings and so many things that you can learn from your book, but what would be your best advice for people with ambitions to work in the sports industry?
That's a very, very good question. In terms of working in sports industry, it's a very, very big industry that can swallow an upcoming or expiring agent. It's an industry where we have lots of sharks. It's an industry, like Equity put it in one of his thriller books, The Dark Side of the Sports. My advice to any upcoming agent is to try and align with a reputable and credible agent, like Dr. Equity is one of them. Because the journey of life can be others, but the destination of the journey of life is grand. From the beginning, it's challenging for you to be able to get to that grand destination of your journey as a football agent. Aligning with credible agent from the beginning will help you to stay on the right path. So my best advice to anyone coming to this football or the sports arena or the sport world, always first and foremost, do your research. Do a good research into the football industry, and then get a good mentor. Follow the mentor, make sure you understand the nitty-gritty of what strategy that worked for the mentors in the short term, which is the tactical solution, and then the strategic solution, which is the long term for sustainability. Those are crucial to anyone who is trying to aspire the next level within the sports industry.
Really good advice, especially for agencies, but also for aspiring agents, but also other people in sports. Approaching the end here, is there something that I haven't asked you yet that you want to mention?
I think we have actually talked a lot about everything, but you see, there's always more. One thing I wanted to say on this again is, it is one thing for you to be successful. Now, I'm not sure if you during my book launch, we had like a book auction for the uprising in Syria.
Mm.
And then also the earthquake in Turkey's earthquake appeal.
Yeah.
So we were able to raise some certain amount for Turkey and Syria to support them.
Mm.
It is one thing for you to be successful in what you do. But when your success is not significant, it's not success. Success in life has to become a channel for you to empower others.
Mm.
In everything I do in life, as a football agent, as an entrepreneur, I always find that space in my heart to help others. My success has always been a funnel, a channel to help others.
Mm.
So I use this podcast today to solicit to people out there who are successful in everything that they are doing, their area of expertise. I don't care what area that you're successful. Your success is not a success until that success becomes significant. And the significant side of success comes when that success becomes a funnel, becomes an overflow, becomes a platform to empower others.
Mm. Yeah, that is great and really motivational to, use your own power and success to help others. I really like that.
Thank you.
Finally, the last question that I ask everyone is, if you can choose the next guest on this podcast, so someone from the world of sports, who do you think I should talk to?
That's really, really good. Who comes to my mind very rapidly would be, have you worked with Bruno yet?
Bruno? No?
Yeah.
No, I haven't. What's his full name?
Bruno Costa.
No, haven't spoken.
Bruno Costa is the head of scouting and players recruitment for San Jose Earthquake in California.
Interesting. That would be a really good episode, I think. So
Bruno is one guy that is very, very fluent in Spanish and even in English. He speaks Spanish anyway, and then fluent in English. And again, also Bruno is going to be your man that you need to speak to. Bruno will be able to unveil a very good side of football around the US for you as well. Bruno has worked with a couple of, I think he has some affiliation with the Brazilian national team as well. And Bruno Costa.
Really good advice. Really good name.
Bruno Costa, good for you.
Definitely.
Yeah, I will recommend Bruno Costa.
Thank you. Michael Ede, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the Sports Management Podcast.
Marcus, thank you very much for having me, and I look forward to more section. Thank you so much.